Next on the 5 o'clock report.
It's almost as if it was vaporized.
Wind chill readings as low as minus 50.
Confirmation is confirmed.
Mr. Kennedy would never come close.
They can build a factory here.
We really seen God work in the middle of this.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Wild weather everywhere. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. You name it, the U.S. weather map has it right now. In our area, winter weather advisories, lake effect snow warnings, strong winds. There are flood watches and warnings from Mississippi to West Virginia, and everything from heavy snow and bitter cold to high winds and mudslides out west. CBS's Carter Evan begins our coverage. He says Southern California is bracing for a dangerous deluge from an atmospheric river.
For the burn areas, that is really bad news, because when I look up at the hillsides here, I see just dirt. There's not any vegetation at all. It's almost as if it was vaporized.
In the upper Midwest, bitter cold.
Temperatures will be down to minus 20 to minus 30 actual readings, and we could have wind chill readings as low as minus 50.
And some of that will make its way to our area by early next week. WGRZ's Kevin O'Neill in Buffalo.
There will be accumulating snows, cold temperatures next week when the kids are off school. Highs in the teens, low teens, and overnight temperatures in the single digits, even approaching zero. And wind chills will be below zero for Monday and Tuesday.
And this afternoon, some snow and wind in upstate New York and some light snow off of Erie and Ontario. Meteorologist Kevin Williams tracking all of that mess. He'll have the updated forecast during this newscast. He's got the job.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 48. The confirmation is confirmed.
With one exception, a party line vote today that confirmed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the new Secretary of Health and Human Services. Peer pressure, says Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York.
If the Senate held a secret ballot today, I'll bet Mr. Kennedy would never come close to becoming confirmed.
Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst.
In my meeting with him, he expressed an interest to work with me on issues of juvenile diabetes and cancer and autism and so many issues that are facing American families today. I am ready to help him.
Republican Senator Mitch McConnell was the only Republican to break ranks and vote against RFK Jr. Busy day in the Senate. CBS's Cammie McCormick with more.
Trump's pick for Education Secretary Linda McMahon told senators today she wants to reorient the department, saying defunding is not the goal. But the department-wide job cuts have already begun.
And a Senate committee stuck to party lines in moving forward Kash Patel's nomination as director of the FBI. A federal judge says President Trump's employee buyout plan can get going again. Last month, Trump offered money to federal employees who resigned their post, but multiple labor unions filed suits against it, saying the administration didn't have the legal authority to do that buyout program. But the plan has apparently proven pretty popular.
75,000 people accepted the buyout program. That's going to save millions of dollars for the American taxpayers, and that's exactly what we want.
That's White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt. That offer program now back on the table. Trump is implementing a new round of reciprocal tariffs. He says the latest tariffs will charge countries what they charge the U.S. Trump adds that the value-added tax systems used by other countries will be considered tariffs in that plan. But he says other countries have an easy way out of U.S. tariffs.
They can build a factory here, a plant or whatever it may be here, and that includes the medical, that includes cars, that includes chips and semiconductors, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think our country is going to be flooded with jobs.
On other matters, Trump echoed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in saying he doesn't envision a path for Ukraine to join NATO. Russia's invasion of Ukraine closing in on the 3-year mark. Correspondent Holly Williams is there.
Here's the problem for Ukrainians. What kind of ceasefire will Trump and Putin negotiate, and will it actually bring a lasting peace to Ukraine?
Ukraine's president says there is no way his country will go along with a deal that they aren't directly involved in negotiating. The on-again, off-again Gaza ceasefire and hostage prisoner swap deal appears to be on again.
We still don't have clarity from Israel exactly what they're going to do, but for the time being, at least, Hamas says it's going to live up to its side of the bargain.
That's Chris Livesay. 30 people injured in an apparent Munich, Germany terror attack, just as the city hosts a high-level conference on security.
The city of Munich is already under high security because of the 3-day Munich Security Conference, which begins tomorrow, and this all took place just about 1 mile from the venue of that event. Among the attendees is Vice President J.D. Vance, who touched down in Munich earlier today. Police are still looking for a motive in this incident.
Correspondent Alex Hogan. A U.S. ship collides with another vessel in the Middle East.
The U.S. Navy says nobody was hurt, nor was there any substantial damage or flooding aboard the USS Harry S. Truman, a Nimitz-class nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, which reportedly collided with a merchant vessel off the coast of Egypt in the Mediterranean.
Fox correspondent Evan Brown. Rodgers over and out. The New York Jets' Aaron Rodgers experiment is officially a fail. The team disclosing today that the 41-year-old likely Hall of Fame quarterback isn't part of their game plan for next season. And almost 5 months after massive flooding from the remnants of Hurricane Helene devastated much of rural North Carolina, a small Baptist church in Marshall, that's north of Asheville, is ready to open for worship again. Dusty Black is the pastor at First Baptist Church of Marshall, which has been a fixture there since 1830. But never had they seen a challenge quite like the one posed by Helene.
The coat of mud throughout our entire sanctuary. The first time you walk down Main Street, you're like, how can this ever be a town again? I had some dark days and dark thoughts. It's been a roller coaster. I'm not going to lie, but God has provided every step of the way.
They met at a nearby high school, missing only one service. Other area churches pitched in with the restoration effort. As many believers can attest, God often shines brightest in the middle of our storms.
There's a lot of good things we've taken from this. We've really seen God work in the middle of this. Wouldn't want it to necessarily go through it in the exact same way, but there's some things that I wouldn't take back either.
Marshall Baptist hosts its first post-Helene service Sunday morning. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report. A Binghamton firefighter dies in an overnight blaze. An old Pennsylvania mine making some national headlines. And we'll have highlights from our noon feature on a stressful Middle East waiting game.
Variably cloudy, brisk and colder tonight and Friday with snow flurries. Lake effect snow, a few inches in spots southeast of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Low to 19s, the high on Friday in the 20s. After that, we've got another weather maker coming in over the weekend. Track is still yet to be determined precisely. Best chance for heavy snow will be in far western New York and upper parts of central New York. The heaviest chance for significant icing will be the eastern Twin Tiers into the western Catskills. Weekend high temperatures in the 30s.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin Williams. Now checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. An unspeakable tragedy. Those are the words of Binghamton Mayor Jared Cram after learning of the line-of-duty death of a city firefighter overnight.
Major collapse! Major collapse!
A chilling radio call from firefighters as a building at 1 Main Street in Binghamton collapsed during a 3-alarm fire, trapping a trio of firefighters and claiming the life of firefighter John J.R. Gaudette. Condolences pouring in from the tight-knit firefighting community all over New York. The blaze along the Shenango River happened just down the street from Binghamton High School, where this student stopped to view the aftermath.
Respect to their family. Yeah, respect to our family, and hopefully that doesn't happen to that are injured.
A Binghamton native, J.R. Gaudette, attended Binghamton High School, played lacrosse for Binghamton University in 2003 and 4, then transferred to play for SUNY Cortland. The cause of that tragic downtown Binghamton fire still under investigation. Anger from the head of the union representing thousands of New York State corrections officers after 3 guards were injured in an inmate takeover of dormitories at the Collins Correctional Facility. That's in Erie County. NYSCBA President Chris Summers tells WNYT there are 2 big problems. One is the state's HALT Act that curtailed use of solitary confinement as a disciplinary measure for unruly inmates.
Without that, they're just going and doing whatever they want and nothing happens to them. If you get into a fight on the dorm in the morning, they leave them there. In the afternoon, they're doing the same thing all over again.
Summers says the other big problem is corrections officers being stretched too thin.
They are working doubles 4 or 5 days in a row. They are now implementing a triple shift.
Summers says state prison closures are only making the short staffing problem worse. A statement by an advocacy group that supports the HALT Act speculates that the dorm uprising at Collins was likely because inmates, we're quoting here, likely felt backed into a corner and even that their lives were at risk. See you in court. New U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi suing the state of New York over its refusal to comply with federal immigration law.
You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you.
Those words aimed at Governor Kathy Hochul, Attorney General Tish James, and DMV Commissioner Mark Schroeder.
And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York. Law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background.
Governor Hochul calls the lawsuit, quote, worthless and publicity-driven. Some of the tussle over federal government spending cuts has cast a spotlight on the small Butler County village of Boyers, Pennsylvania. It's home to a former limestone mine for the area's steelmaking days. It now serves a new function, housing and processing retirement paperwork handled by the Iron Mountain Corporation, a process that Doge head Elon Musk says is archaic.
The speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government.
Fox correspondent Nate Foy is in Boyers, PA.
220 feet underground. Workers go through each application by hand after receiving documents from whatever federal agency a worker is retiring from.
Foy says the agency got $18 million a couple of months back to modernize its process, but has yet to report in on exactly how that's being done. Up next, today's news feature takes us to Israel, where a Saturday deadline looms from Donald Trump for Hamas leaders to release hostages who've been held now for more than a year in Gaza. Aria Myers is a paramedic coordinator with the National Emergency Services of Israel. He tells Family Life News that while people are thrilled to have some of the hostages back home, tension remains high over the others and whether the shaky ceasefire arrangement will break down before they can be freed.
So this news regarding the hostages and the possibility of the hostage deal collapsing obviously has Magen David Adom and the whole of the state of Israel really very much on edge. Concerned about what might happen, whether we will see a resumption of the fighting, whether there'll be rocket attacks again into Israel, and obviously our main concern is also for the hostages themselves. We're very much hoping to see them home as soon as possible. Talks of the deal potentially collapsing are very concerning for all of us.
What has been public reaction to how things have happened since mid-January when this original deal was first announced?
So again, here in Israel, the mood has been partially one of I don't want to use the word celebration, but I guess that's the closest. The fact that the hostages are being released, or some of them are being released, alongside this torturous stretching out of the whole process of us only receiving 3 hostages at a time, of Hamas only releasing the names just a few hours before, adding huge stress to the families and to all of us here in Israel.
What's been the public news about the condition, both mental and physical, of those who had been held in those Hamas caves for well over a year?
So I don't have too many more details than what I'm sure you've seen on the media about the condition of the hostages who have returned. In Magen David Adom, we are obviously concerned with the health and welfare of all Israelis. We are seeing an uptick in the number of mental health cases, whilst the calls for those injured in conflict has obviously reduced in the last few weeks, which we are very happy about. We still have to be prepared for anything that might happen. And again, whether that means the collapse of this deal, the state of Israel might face a state of ongoing war. And as Israel's national EMS organization, we have to be prepared for that.
Greg Gillespie's full interview with paramedic Aria Myers is on the Special Features tab on the Family Life newscast page. Your nightly market report is up next, brought to you by Faithward Advisors. Wall Street closing the stocks higher today. They went higher after President Donald Trump ordered reciprocal tariffs on all trading partners. Trump also suggested that more tariffs are on the way, including some on auto imports. At the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 342 points to 44,711. The S&P 500 gained 63 to 6115. The Nasdaq gained 295 points to 19,945. Faithward Advisors, a Christian financial planning firm helping faithful stewards do more. Details are available at faithwardadvisors.com. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Would you like to make life easier? Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. Well, I have a suggestion for making life easier. Develop and follow a financial spending plan, commonly known as a budget. You know, many people misunderstand what a budget is for. They think of it as a financial straitjacket, but actually a budget frees you to live with less stress and to make better decisions about the money you have available. Leo Sabo of the Christian Stewardship Network puts it this way: budgeting isn't about living a meager and joyless life. It's about making conscious choices that align with your priorities and beliefs, leading to a more fulfilling and enjoyable life. How does having a fulfilling and enjoyable life sound to you? Let us help you get on a budget today. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, we'll meet Cadillac Matt, a barber who's got a style all his own.
No sooner do we rid ourselves of the most recent messy weather maker, another one is coming in for the weekend. In the meantime, for the night tonight and through the day tomorrow, turning colder with variable amounts of cloudiness and some snow flurries. Lake effect snow, though, will accumulate several inches east and southeast of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Low tonight, teens, the high tomorrow, 20s. Saturday, cloudy with snow returning later in the day. An icy mix in parts of western Pennsylvania with high temperatures in the 30s. Snow, ice, and rain Saturday night and Sunday.
Yeah, can't wait, Kev. Thanks so much. Finally at 5, way more than just haircuts. Matt Queen owns Cadillac Matt's Barbershop in Garden City, Idaho. And he's got a following that's no small potatoes. One reason people love his place? The large no politics sign at the front door.
I just like to make everybody feel welcome, you know what I mean, regardless of their opinion.
But better still, he organizes fellow barbers to give free haircuts to local veterans, carrying on a proud family tradition.
My grandpa was a vet and my dad's a vet. I have several clients that are vets. My grandpa was a barber for 55 years, and he used to go over to the veterans' home, and he would just give haircuts to all the vets.
Now, this 20-year Air Force veteran appreciates the barber's small but powerful act of kindness.
It makes me proud to be a part of a bigger thing. A lot of them have given so much, and it just shows appreciation.
Cadillac Matt, a barber who's a cut above. And that's the world we live in for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.